In this video we're going to look at starting functions, and we're going to look at the function notation, what a function is, and two things called the domain and the range, and also substituting numbers into a function and solving a function. So let's start off by just looking up here, and we've got a function, so it starts with fx, and here's the function. And then there's a bit after it, this little bit here. And this tells me the numbers that I can put into the function. So x, and this is included in, and this big R is all the real numbers. So at standard level, that's just about every conceivable number you can think of. So x can be any number you think of, and it will go into this function. Now, we also have something, what comes out of it. Now, if we were to graph it, we would end up having something like this. So remember, x can be any real number. Here's my function, I've graphed it. I can choose, although my graph stops at almost 6, it carries on forever and ever. And any x number will go into this function. All these minuses will go in. The domain, x is any real number, the domain. Now what comes out, I like to think of as the y numbers. So the x numbers go in, the y numbers come out. So let's have a look at what our y numbers are here. Well, the smallest y number that I can possibly get is here at the bottom of my function, and we've already done completing the square. The y is -5, and I can see it from there. So my range, the y, can be equal to but bigger than 5. I cannot get anything else out, nothing below. So this is my range. So I've got my domain as any number I can think of, and my range as y is greater than, a -5. Okay, so that's domain and range, and you'll see that with functions fx, and it always has a domain afterwards. Next we're going to look at what happens when we substitute a number into a function. So first of all we're going to use algebra. So this says fx, same function, fx equals blah blah blah. Find f3. So I'm going to make x 3. Look, there's the x, now I've made it 3. So I go to the function, and all I have to do is make x 3 all the way through the function. So it becomes 3 minus 2, square it, take away 5. So that's 1 squared is 1, take away 5, minus 4. Now, we could also have questions, or we could also get the answer by using a graph. So I want to find f3. So I will go along to where f is 3. So x is 3, and I go down. So I've chosen the x number as 3. The x number is 3. I go down and across. Let's put this on here. Go down and across, and that is clearly -4. So that's how you solve an equation. You can either do it, let's go back, you can either do it with algebra, or you can solve it, or you can substitute in with a graph. So the second part you need to be aware of is how to solve an equation. So this time, it's not the x that I've made 4. I don't know what x is, but the function is 4. So I need to make it x minus 2 squared minus 5 equal to 4, and now it becomes an algebra problem. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides, so I have x minus 2 squared, add 5 to both sides, and I get 9. I'm going to square root both sides, so I have x minus 2 equal to plus and minus 3. When I square root 9 I get 3, but I get 2 answers. So one answer is plus 3 plus 2, and one answer is minus 3 minus 2. Take it back. Plus minus 3 plus 2 give me -1. Now, I can actually check these answers, 5 and -1, they're the answers to this equation now. I can check them using the graph, or I could have just got them straight away using a graph. So here's my graph again, and I want it where it's equal to 4. So at this time, it's not x that's 4, like I did before. This time it's the y number. It's like the output is 4. So I go along to 4, and if I draw a line here at x equals 4, sorry, y equals 4, okay, just move that line up, we can see that there's one answer here at -1, and there's another answer here, let's just move in, there's another answer here where x equals 5. If I just get that graph just right on there, and the other one here where x equals 5. So those are my two answers when I solve it. So just to recap, you should now know what a function looks like, what the domain is, what the range is, the y numbers, how to substitute a number into a function, how to substitute a number into a function with a graph, x goes in, y comes out, how to solve a function using algebra, how to solve a function using a graph. You look at the y number and you work out the x number.